Alright, in this video I'm doing a tire rotation on my Nissan Pathfinder. The brand of vehicle is not that important. What is important is that it is a rear wheel drive vehicle, or it has the four-wheel drive capability as well, and the tire rotation pattern, generally speaking, is the same for four-wheel drive and rear wheel drive vehicles. The first thing I'm going to do is get the spare tire off. I do have axle stands and I actually have more than one jack, but I'm going to do this with minimal equipment, because if all you have is the jack that comes with the vehicle and your spare tire, then this is a way you could do the tire rotation without a whole lot of pain at having two tires off your vehicle at the same time. So obviously jack stands or multiple jacks is an option, but for this I'm going to use the spare tire of the vehicle. And you can see the spare tire is coming down. Now the lowering port is right there in the back of the vehicle for this thing. And this spare tire hasn't come off. It's a good idea to take your spare tire off a little more frequently than I do. This one hasn't been taken off probably ever. It's probably from 2012, and I don't know if it's very good. I'm gonna put air in it, and then hopefully it gets me where I need to go if it ever goes flat, but right now it's not in great shape. So I'm gonna start at the rear driver's side, and what I'm doing is what is called a rearward cross. Now my Haynes manual says to go just front tire to the rear, rear tire to the front, no crossing, but I would say that that's more common for directional tires than it is for non-directional tires, and I've obviously put non-directional tires on this. So obviously I've loosened the lug nuts, then jacked the vehicle up the rest of the way, and now I'm taking the lug nuts off. Of note, my vehicle is in park and the parking brake is on. And for this, I don't use anything that comes with the vehicle, but obviously you could. I'm using a breaker bar with a socket extension and the 21mm socket to get everything off. And then because the rim was a little bit frozen on, I did have to give it a smack to loosen it up. Now that that wheel's off, I'm going to put the spare tire on in its place. And then I'm going to finish the job back here at this spare tire. So because I'm doing the rearward cross method, the rear tires move forward on the same side of the vehicle, and then the front tires, when they move back, they crisscross. So I'll throw up a little diagram of what I'm talking about there. In my opinion, what's most important is that you stick to one method, and that way you don't change up what you're doing and then have the same tire sort of go just back and forth to the same spot multiple times. And there's not a whole lot of air in the spare tire, but there's enough to do this job, and I'll fill it up later. So like I said, for the rearward cross, I'm going to move the rear driver's side tire up to the front driver's side position. I'm going to slowly speed the video up throughout the process here. Once the lug nuts are loosened, raise the vehicle the rest of the way with the jack, then use the tire iron or the 21mm socket to remove the tire. Get that out of the way. And just for note, you should check the condition of your tires while you're doing this, as well as the condition of your brake pads, brake rotors, that sort of thing. Make sure everything's good to go. So I'll put the tire that was on the driver's side rear on the driver's side front. Put the lug nuts back on. And then when you're tightening up the lug nuts on the vehicle, I'm going to use a crisscross pattern so that the rim is actually seated nice and flat. Once all the lug nuts are tight, I'll lower the vehicle, and I'm using a torque wrench now with the 21mm socket, and the manual I have says to go to 98 foot-pounds for a 2012, so just consult your manual or the internet for whatever vehicle you have. Using the rearward cross method, I'm going to take the front driver tire, and it's going to go rear passenger side. So loosen the lug nuts, raise the vehicle, take the lug nuts off the rest of the way. Once all the lug nuts are removed, remove the wheel from the vehicle. Check the condition of the tire, check the condition of the brakes, any suspension components, obviously. While you're down here, make sure nothing's broken, nothing's loose. Now take the front driver's side tire and put it on the rear passenger side. Again, I'm just going hand tight with these lug nuts. Once they're all on, I'll start going in the crisscross pattern to slowly tighten them down. Not tightening one lug nut all the way down, just sort of going slowly. Then once they're tight, lower the vehicle, take the torque wrench and torque all the lug nuts to 98 foot-pounds in a crisscrossing manner. Again, just tightening them down slowly. Now the second last tire to change is going to be the front passenger side. Once again, loosen the lug nuts, raise the vehicle, remove all the lug nuts, and then remove the tire from the vehicle. And I'll move that tire to the rear driver's side, and I'll take this tire, which was the rear passenger side tire, and move it to the front passenger side of the vehicle. Again, this is the Rearward Cross method. Tighten the lug nuts by hand and then get them partially tightened, and then take the torque wrench and torque everything down to 98 foot-pounds. And the last thing I'm going to do is take the tire that was on the front passenger side and put it on the rear driver's side where I started. So I'll take this crusty spare tire off the vehicle, throw that out of the way, and put the tire that was on the front passenger side on the rear driver's side. Again, hand tight on the lug nuts, tightening the lug nuts very slowly in a crisscrossing pattern. Lower the vehicle and bring everything to 98 foot-pounds. Last thing I'm going to do is bring the spare tire up to 35 psi and put it back under the vehicle. And that's pretty much it. About 100 kilometers or 60 miles later, I come back with the torque wrench and make sure everything's at 98 foot-pounds. Anyway, pretty fast and easy. You can do it with minimal equipment. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.